Bayou Time Sports is brought to you by Terrible General Health System's Community Sports Institute in conjunction with Barker Honda.
Hello and welcome to this edition of Bayou Time Sports. I'm your host, Keith Weisheit. Thank you so much for joining us. And you know what? The weather's getting a little cooler, and it's time for the Friday Night Lights. So excited about playoff football. We welcome into the program Coach Jesse Turner, Ellender head football coach. Welcome, Jesse.
Welcome, man. I appreciate you inviting us here. It's always a blessing to come on HTV and talk sports and talk about my kids and my staff. So I'm glad to be here.
We appreciate that. Sitting next to him, Coach Jamal Nixon, the offensive coordinator for Ellender. Welcome, Jamal.
Yes, sir, man. Thank you for having me on.
Well, listen, it's one of those things that I know y'all appreciate being here, but y'all appreciate being in the playoffs more than anything.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about how the season kind of ended. It's just kind of a snapshot of how the season went, and we'll talk about finding out y'all got in.
It's been a long, tough season, man. It was filled with ups and downs, but talking about how we ended on a good note.
Right.
We ended up beating South Terrebonne, which is a rival school, and which locked us a spot in the playoffs. And one thing that we did see through the course of the season, we had a lot of kids that were displaced. So it was kind of different trying to get those guys together. But toward the end of the season, you can see a team that's coming together, playing as one, as a family. And so that's the biggest thing that we take from the end of the season going into the playoffs.
I got you. Coach Jamal, let's talk a little bit about the offense because, boy, it started to click there through the middle of the season or so.
Yes, sir. Really started with Cade Atkins,
Okay.
A freshman guy. You asked him to step in 4A football, for the first time, new experience for him. But I think he took that on. And once he started to get settled, get comfortable, you see his playmaking ability from the quarterback position.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely being a freshman, to step into that role, that's huge,
Yeah, and he's coming out of COVID through Ida, dealing with playing football as a freshman. Shows a lot about his character, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Definitely, man. Like, he's one of the most humble guys, if you pay attention to him at practice at any time, that guy stays cool, calm, and collective. He never changes. Never changes, like the game never gets up, never gets down for him. He's one of those guys that just stays level.
Yeah, we talk about that very often, especially for quarterbacks. If they, make a great play, that's good. Mm-hmm. But if they make a bad play, they're able to forget that pretty quickly. Yeah. They got to have a little short-term memory loss to be a good quarterback.
Most definitely. You definitely got to keep composure because, you getting the snap every play. The offense go off of your command. So if you get too low, it's going to bring everybody else down. So it's a tough position, and to allude what Coach Nixon was saying, as a freshman to step in and do that, that's big for us. I guarantee you we could look at the 32 teams in 4A that made the playoffs. Not too many freshman quarterbacks led their team to the playoffs. It's especially with the stuff that we're going through with Ida and being displaced, not even having a locker room, as I was saying before.
Right.
So for him to do that is definitely big for us.
Well, let's talk a little bit about finding out about getting into the playoffs. Tell me a little bit about how last weekend went.
Well, we, during the preparation of last week going against South Terrebonne, we kind of had a idea if we win, we're in. Mm-hmm. At one point, we was matched up to Ellender because we was the last seed, number 32, which we played them last year. But, we was excited no matter what. So we knew if we won the game against South Terrebonne, we had a great chance to be in. So that was our motivation, not only just because it was a rival game that Friday, but we wanted to continue to play. We wanted to play when the cool air, when it's cold outside. And,
right.
When some teams is not fortunate enough to make it, we wanted to be one of those guys one of those teams who are still playing. So we still got a shot. We still blessed to play another week. And we'll see how that goes. Same thing for next week. Thing for next week. So,
it's really interesting. You're talking about how that perspective is about maturity coming from the leader of a freshman quarterback. Yeah. But when you find out it's win and you're in, potentially, some people fold, and some people step up.
Yes.
And so he stepped up, and so did the defense.
Yes. It's several guys. I can name several guys who stepped up for us, and not just him on offense. It was offense as a whole. Mm-hmm. We was rough on the O-line at one point, but those guys came together, and they did an excellent job Friday. The backs, we ran for over 100 yards easily, and Orion James, our receivers, he caught the game-winning touchdown. Right. And defensively, oh, my God, man, those guys, they They had some ups, they had some downs throughout the year, but those are the guys who kind of kept us afloat. You know what I'm saying? Against a tough, solid food team, even though we lost, I thought they played defensively. I thought they played well. Even against Vanderbilt, who's the district champ, they played well. So those guys, you know, we always are able to lean on some of the guys on that defensive end, and they definitely answer the bell, and I'm looking for them to have a big week this week as well. Speaking
of looking forward to it, let's talk about that matchup and what you're seeing, what you're hoping for your kids. We've got about a minute and a half left.
Okay, Warren Easton, you know, it is what it is. They're a number 3 team in the state.
Right.
They got athletes all over the field. They're pretty good up front. They got some 3-4 star guys on the back end. But at the end of the day, the game got to be played, man. We're excited. We got a game plan. Coach Nixon and Coach Atkins, our defensive coordinator, they you know, we met this weekend and we studied the film, and we, you know, we want to put our kids in the best position to be successful, and I think we definitely got a plan to do that this week.
I like it. Some final thoughts?
Yeah, definitely going into the playoffs, man. You know, great matchup, man. You look to go up against, you know, like the teams that you're going up against. Definitely this week, you know, going up against Warren Easton. You know, it's pretty much, you know, like they skill guys matched up against ours, you know.
Right.
You know, man, I feel like, you know, man, like my receiver core is probably like one of the top in the state. You know, like they can battle against anybody, go against anyone. So definitely, man, like going into this week, you know, like you liable to see a show this week. You know, man, like my guys are definitely ready to play. You know, Roy Williams, Orion.
Yeah,
y'all
are ready.
Guys are ready.
Y'all are ready. Bottom line is they put their pants on one leg at a time.
Yep.
And any given Friday night.
Yes, sir.
Coach Turner, Coach Nixon, I cannot wish you the best. Looking forward to talking with you guys, hopefully for a win this weekend.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you, man.
Thanks for joining us.
Yes, sir.
All right, that'll do it for this edition of Bayou Time Sports. Don't go anywhere. A lot more local programming when we continue.